Some major changes are coming, and I'm going to go over the 7.15 Frost Mage from the PTR and the future build of World of Warcraft. So I make a lot of Mage videos as my main in Legion, and I've been hemming and hawing and going back and forth in between doing Arcane and doing Frost, and doing Arcane, then doing Frost. I was leaning towards Arcane until they just recently nerfed it on the PTR. Anybody that watched my last video would know that I was proclaiming the awesomeness of new overpowered talent. But it's been steadily nerfed since then, so now I'm kind of hemming and hawing again, and I've been playing around with Frost a lot lately. Not one to be too big of a fan about Frost, I was surprised how much I fell in love with actually using the spec in a raid setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the changes, talk about the couple of new legendaries they're adding, go over the spec and stat squish, kind of secondary stat squish that they're about to be doing, and how that's going to affect you a little bit, and then go over my rotation and what kind of each of the spells does. So without any further delay, let's go over the legendaries. So the first new legendary in the patch for the Frost Mage is a shoulder is called Ice Time. Its skill set, secondary stats are okay. They work fine in a Frost Mage, but the equip that you get is actually kind of neat. Your Frozen Orb is going to explode into a giant Frost Nova that deals about 500,000 damage. The equip on it's kind of interesting. Your Frozen Orb is going to explode and deal damage as a Frost Nova. Mine does about 500,000 on the PTR. Making it very, very interesting, especially for AoE-based fights. Like Helio would be a great fight to have this thing on. Will I use it as one of my two legendaries? If I get it, I'm going to have to test it out, but as of right now, I'm probably going to stick with Magtheridon's Banished Bracers and the Shard of the Exodar. The next one's Kill Jaden's Burning Wish. It's a stat stick trinket, which makes it interesting because it's a legendary trinket. Pretty decent stats on it. The on-use is fire critical strike damage though, and I don't foresee needing that as a Frost Mage, but if you go fire, take that thing. I'm not even lying to you. The talents I tanker as follows. Bone Chilling, it just increases my frost damage. Shimmer gives me an extra blink. I take Incanter's Flow at 45 because I'm lazy, it's just better for passive DPS. Now the interesting one is Frozen Touch. That has changed. Normally it would give you 2 Fingers of Frost. Now it just passively increases your chance to generate Fingers of Frost by 40%, which is important because of the way the artifact weapon changed, which I'll go over in a second. Then I take Frigid Winds, Unstable Magic again because I'm lazy and I just like the passive cleave, and then Thermal Void because the entire point is to keep Icy Veins up as long as humanly possible. Now the big change to your artifact weapon is that Ebon Bolt no longer generates 2 Fingers of Frost, it now generates a charge of Brain Freeze. What that means is it's going to change how you keep your way into Icy Veins a little bit differently. That's why we took that talent that increases your passive generation of Fingers of Frost by 40%. It helps increase the ability to stay into Icy Veins a lot longer. Now what this does is it inherently changes the way I did my rotation as opposed to it is on live. Normally during the burn phase, when I'm actually just spamming everything I have and using my cooldowns, I would use Ebon Bolt to build Fingers of Frost to keep Icy Veins going longer. Now I'm just going to take Frozen Touch to keep myself in there going longer and use Ebon Bolt on cooldown instead. Alright, let's take a look at the rotation a little bit. Now the first thing you're going to do is create a Water Jet macro. The easiest way to do this is go in and make a macro, /cast Water Jet, and then put it on your action bar. Water Jet is so important during your rotation that it's important to make a macro. You can't be clicking your pet bar to do this. Alright, so let's take a look at what each of your spells do real quick, okay? When you cast Water Jet, if you cast Frostbolt and it hits while Water Jet is being cast, it will generate a Finger of Frost. You can tell you have a Finger of Frost because you'll have little icicles on either side of your character. I don't change the way this looks via weak R's or anything. I like the way it looks. It kind of helps me out a little bit. When you generate Fingers of Frost, you can use Ice Lance to dump them out and cast all your icicles. As you see, I have 5 icicles right now. If I generate me some Fingers of Frost like so, come on, let's see. Alright, if I generate some Fingers of Frost like so, like there you go. If I dump it via Ice Lance, it'll cast all of those icicles directly at the target. Okay, it's really great because a black ice talent that you get through your artifact weapon can empower one of those every now and then to increase for 100% additional damage. Alright. Now the second major proc that you're going to get is going to be Brain Freeze. Now Ebon Bolt will cause this, as will, you know, Frost Bolts. When you get Brain Freeze, which is that marker above that you see right here, you want to cast Flurry. It'll cause it to hit harder and be an instant cast. It's a huge DPS shot. It's very, very important to do when it comes up. Alright, let's see how this rotation works in actual use. First thing I'm going to do is cast Frostbolt. As you're casting Frostbolt, you'll cast Water Jet from your pet to generate Fingers of Frost. Then you'll pop your Icy Veins, dump your Fingers of Frost in your Ice Lance in order to keep the Ice Lance going, or Icy Veins going longer. After that, you'll pop your Frozen Orb and cast Ice Lance every time you see a Fingers of Frost proc. It'll dump your Icicles and it'll also extend your Icy Veins. While your haste is active from Icy Veins, you're going to want to cast Ebon Bolt on cooldown, and then dump your Brain Freeze as it hits. It's basically a priority system. What you're going to do is, the priority system is going to go as follows. You're going to cast Flurry when Brain Freeze is active as top priority. You're going to cast Ice Lance when you have 1 or 2 charges of it during Icy Veins, or when you have 2 charges of it when you're not in Icy Veins. After that, you're going to use Frostbolt as filler and use Water Jet on cooldown. It's actually a very, very simple rotation. You want to save your cooldowns, obviously, for raid-specific fights or things you need to do. But other than that, that's pretty much it. That priority list is what you need to do. Alright, in this build, Haste is king. You want to get Haste above all everything until you hit your max breakpoints. You can check out Icy Veins, actually a great website to check it out, which now I realize that's kind of funny for a Frost Mage, to give you the exact breakpoints on those, because I don't want to make this video too long and go over each individual breakpoint. Then you'll go for crit, then pretty much just whatever's next. Some people say versatility, some say mastery. I tend to go for mastery to increase my icicles damage, and then versatility. I hope this guide was helpful to you. Please leave a like and subscribe if it was. Peace out, and I'll see you guys in the Nighthold.